Good afternoon. Welcome to 13 News at 4 on this Tuesday. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Samantha Johnson in for Felicia. We begin with an update in the death of Fisher's teen Haley Busby.
For the first time, police tell us suspect Tyler Thomas admitted to burying the 17-year-old's body in Perry County, Ohio. And police are confirming evidence found yesterday at a short-term rental in a different Ohio county may indicate that a crime occurred inside. That information coming within the last 20 minutes.
Meantime, tonight, the community is now paying tribute to Busby.
Our Jenna Webster's on that story today. She shows us the message they're trying to send to her family and to state lawmakers.
It was certainly not the news anyone in Haley Busby's hometown was hoping to hear, but now they're using these pink ribbons. They're hanging them up around town in her neighborhood as a sign of hope. In downtown Fortville, a few missing person flyers still hang on poles. Pink ribbons now join them.
Yeah, I have these, and then I have a lot here that could be tied onto something.
The kitchen on Main in Fortville is helping hand out the ribbons. The tribute wasn't the owner's idea, but when he heard about it, knew they had to be involved. Haley worked at the restaurant for a little more than a year. Now the pink ribbons displayed around town and her neighborhood is the community's way to show they're thinking about her and the Busby family. It's also a way to advocate for Haley's Law, which would require predator and online grooming education in Indiana schools and create a pink alert system for missing people.
She's touched a lot of lives here in the community, and maybe even the smallest little thing. And I just want to make sure that we continue to embrace, her.
The Busby family posted on social media saying seeing their neighborhood glow pink for Haley leaves them speechless. They say they feel this deeply and will never forget this. In Fortville, Jenna Webster, 13 News.
And we are still going through that new information from investigators, from police that we just got a few minutes ago. We'll have more on that, of course, coming up at 5 o'clock. Now to another big story getting a lot of attention today. Illegal after-hour parties in Indianapolis. Metro Police say it's a problem that causes shootings and other sorts of violence.
And the latest of these parties happened this weekend inside a vacant daycare on the northeast side. Our Ashton Hackman has been looking into the man police say was behind this party. We're talking about an old daycare turned dance floor.
Yeah, not the place that you would expect to find a party, right? Police say this illegal after-hours event was in a building that was supposed to be empty. And the man who put it together, well, he's no stranger to police. They say Alonzo Smith was out on federal probation since August and got right to work hosting these parties. Police say Smith would use social media to quietly spread the address, all held without permits and inside vacant buildings or buildings up for lease. Police found this post over the weekend and got the address from an undercover Facebook profile. Cops showed up when the party started at 3 a.m. and talked with Smith. They say he got the key, or he said that he got the key from the building's owner. Police then learned no one had permission to be there. Police found over $1,000 in cash on Smith and a few cases of beer in the building. Smith is now charged with burglary and maintaining a common nuisance. Metro Police say the party could have gotten out of hand.
When you mix that narcotics, the illegally possessed firearms, alcohol drinking, you're in large groups of people, you're bound to have some type of altercation, and that's where you're not going to see the conflict resolution we've been asking for, and we don't want to be there because of some type of other incident.
IMPD says social media has been their biggest tool busting these events. Now, coming up at 5, I'll walk you through other parties police say Smith is behind since he got out of federal prison. They're just thankful this one ended peacefully. You'll hear coming up that's not always been the case. And I also talked to the owner of that property, and he kind of walked me through what they found after police busted all of it. Quite the story.
Yeah, this is a wild story and one that has a lot of people talking. Glad no one was hurt. Glad it wasn't any worse, but we'll see you coming up. Thank you.
Now to an ongoing discussion here in Indiana, and that is the cost of childcare, the high cost of childcare.
This is interesting. Our Ella Rhodes is looking at a recent study ranking states based on the gap between what families make and what they need to make to comfortably afford childcare. So Ella, where does Indiana stand in all of this?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dustin and Sam. This Lending Tree study found Indiana ranks at number 9 in the country for the largest gap in what a family earns versus what it needs to actually earn to afford childcare. So this Lending Tree study did it for all 50 states. They found on average childcare in Indiana costs around $29,000 a year. The average income in the state for a family with 2 kids is a little more than $122,000. But here's the kicker. The Department of Health and Human Services says the affordable cost of childcare should only take up to 7% of a household's income. That means the average Indiana household with 2 children, according to Lending Tree, needs to make at least more than 239% of their current salary to hit that comfortability status that HHS set. So I spoke with a few families and the director of a child care ministry here in Indy. They all agree that the cost of child care is impractical for working families. They say they spend about a third of their income on it, like Haley Meadows, mom 3.
It's definitely dramatically more expensive, a lot less easily obtainable. I personally know a lot of friends and mothers who have lost childcare and have lost their homes and not been able to pay their bills.
But that's not the case for everyone here, and Meadows knows that as well. She has all of her 3 kids under 5. Now, after losing CCDF vouchers, her children's daycare came up with a specialized payment plan for her, but really that's just not the case for everybody. And another parent I spoke with says she just doesn't understand why this is such an extensive issue here in our country in America, because in other countries, you know, childcare is kind of a given and it's provided. So.
So many families are watching right now saying, yeah, we feel this, certainly feel the strain. How did they find these numbers?
Great question. So, of course, the U.S. Census is a great resource, and that's where they got some of that info from. And also Child Care Aware of America, they got a bunch of information from as well. But ahead at 5:30, you'll hear from another parent on how one local child care provider is working directly with them to help, afford these costs.
Well, as we've been covering on Crossroads Politics week after week, affordability is something that the state legislature has been hearing about, something that they're trying to work at right now. So we'll see what may or may not come of it out of the State House. Look forward to your story coming up later. Ella,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Also this afternoon, Sean Ash is here with us. Sean, you've got some traffic troubles this afternoon?
Yeah, a little breaking traffic here. So this is 465 southbound on the west side near Crawfordsville Road. IMPD has apprehended a suspect. Don't know what they were chasing him for, but the desk is telling me that this suspect actually ran across all lanes of 465 there, and he or she apprehended where you see them. So this will cause some big backups here. Again, we're talking west side. So here's Crawfordsville Road. There's your southbound backup, but it's also going slow on the northbound lanes as well. We had an incident earlier. Looks like it might be cleared up. That was going to be I-69 north coming out of 465 on the northeast side. In other breaking news, more of the weather variety. For the first time since the 22nd of January, above freezing. 34 degrees here in Indianapolis, above freezing there in Bloomington. The snow, we've had some burst earlier today. Actually had just over an inch with a burst in Rushville. But most of this, as expected, now is over southern Indiana. Seymour, near Bedford, and this will coat up the ground. This will cause some slick spots before it completely gets out of the state here by 5 or 6 p.m. We've seen a little filtered sunshine, and there's that 34-degree temperature. It's going to be chillier tonight. We've got some chilly nights, but we've got a warm-up next week that we also want to talk about ahead in the 7-day forecast.
The Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance of Indianapolis held its monthly breakfast here at the Jewel Center on Tuesday, and the topic was no ICE in Indianapolis, concerns about immigration agents and their tactics that they see across the country and how that could be or may be happening in Indianapolis. Featured on the panel discussion was Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears, and he made it quite clear that he feels that ICE agents are violating the constitutional rights of people they are interacting with.
It's hard when we see a Department of Justice which routinely defies federal court orders. It's hard when we see ICE agents out in our streets routinely violate the constitutional rights of citizens. And when 2 people were murdered in the middle of the street, the Department of Justice's response initially was to investigate the victims rather than the people who pulled the trigger.
New Indianapolis Police Chief Tanya Terry also spoke to the group and says that her officers remain focused on protecting the rights of all citizens of Indianapolis and keeping the city calm.